finding someone that'll match your freak. You need friends that match your freak, you need parents that match your freak, you need siblings that match your freak, and you need a partner that matches your freak. Everyone needs to match my freak. I need to look around and be like, wow, it's freaky in here. Everybody got different freaks. Are our freaks meant to be together? Should we bring the freaks together if you don't really match my freaky in the way that I want to find people freaky? And that is an important thing too. Are you freaky in the same way that I am freaky? Is somebody gonna match my freak? Is somebody gonna match my freak? Is somebody gonna match my nasty? Today I just want to chat about finding someone that'll match your freak. Okay, but yeah, if you guys aren't familiar with Tinashe's song, essentially she's talking about somebody matching her freak, right? And so how I kind of interpret that is like, is there somebody out there who is going to reciprocate energy to you, right? Because I think a lot of times in dating, that's what we get, right? When we're out on the dating apps, we just kind of get the same shit over and over again, where you'll be excited for a date, you're talking to someone new, and you're like feeling really excited, right? For all my hopeless romantics out there, y'all know that like once you start talking to somebody new, it's like, oh, maybe there is hope. But I think that over the course of being on the dating apps and like just being exposed to so many people, we've all just become kind of jaded, you know what I mean? Like, if you really think about it, right? This is very layered. Let's start at maybe the most biological explanation is like, we require attention as humans. And so when we get attention from the people that we want to get attention from, that feels good, right? I think it's very much like feeding into our ego and the things that we like about ourselves, right? When we're able to display ourselves and portray ourselves in a certain way to enact a response, right? Because when we post on Instagram, we obviously get that external validation. But personally for me, when I am on a dating app and somebody shoots their shot at me, I'm kind of like, ooh, that hits different than just a like. That hits different than somebody sliding into my DMs. Like, that hits different than like, I don't know, like the normal attention. I think that when people shoot their shot on the dating apps, it's kind of like, oh, you trying to get to know me? Like, do I seem interesting to you? Rather than like a very passive like. And so at the most base level, yeah, attention. And I guess like, you know, digging into the science of things, like, let's think about that. It's feeding our dopamine when we get likes, when we get attention. Like, honestly, right? Y'all know that at a certain point, there was a time when like the dating apps were serving as this tool that I was using as like validation for like who I was and like how cool I was, like if I had aura or not, you know? And like, I think that that's why it's fun. Like, honestly, I think it's very fun to be able to like curate a profile and A/B test and, you know, like check out different prompts and just like kind of like be open to the idea of new people. But then after so many times of those like repetitive like dopamine hits, that starts to wear off, right? Like, we start to like build a tolerance to it. And so it becomes like less and less effective. And that's when the cycle of like downloading and deleting the apps comes from, is like, oh, I'm kind of over this, because obviously you have shot your dopamine levels. And then once those like kind of replenish and rebuild, you're like, oh, let me get on the apps again, right? And like when you go on these dates and it's just, right, it's the same shit over and over again, like obviously like we're all gonna get jaded. Like, it's not just us getting jaded, it's also the guys. And so I think that's when people are just doing things passively and like literally not being very intentional with like why they're on the apps, right? I think that's why our current dating culture is like kind of effed, is because nobody cares, right? Like back in the day when you were forced to shoot your shot in person, it was like, oh, I have to talk to this girl, I have to talk to this guy, I have to talk to this person, otherwise like I'm gonna go home and like be thinking about it, like, right? Like we all have that. Like I feel like I get that feeling when I like don't buy something, or like I don't buy something at the thrift especially that I really want, and it's just like I walk around and I'm like, shit, I should have bought those pants. And so I think that like how I kind of like have decided to decision make is by placing myself in future Hannah's shoes and looking back and going, am I going to regret this decision, right? And so when it comes to matching my freak, it's like I just want reciprocation from the other person. Like, is that too much to ask? Is like for you to want to see me rather than like, I don't know, go do something else? Like, I want to like the person that I'm dating, right? Like hopefully you like them. Otherwise, why are you in this relationship? You know what I mean? Like, I think it's so interesting to me that like people will be in relationships with people that they don't like. I don't really mean that in a judgmental way, right? Because like I think that sometimes like there are factors that can happen that, you know, make you bond with the person, right? That's why like there's such a thing as like trauma bonding, because like maybe you bonded over an experience that was shared, or maybe like this person was really there for you like during a hard time. And like I very much value loyalty. That's not what I'm saying. But like, I think at the very like core, I like it when people like me back. Like that is so important. And I also want to like them just as much as they like me, right? Like I think something that my mom had said a while ago was, it might be more important how someone loves you than how you love them. And I really thought about it, and I was like, oh damn, I don't think I've ever considered how someone like loves me, right? Like in some of my friends' relationships that they've been like dating very long term, I remember like hearing from one of the girls kind of that exact statement of like, I love how he loves me. Like I love how much he loves me and how he shows his love. And so it really made me like think about like, oh, yeah, like I might like this person, but if they don't reciprocate that, if they don't like see how special I am, especially if like I see them as special, then like I don't know if that's like the right relationship for me, right? Like when I think about relationships, I really think like I have a lot of love to give, so I can't imagine giving all of that to somebody that like feels wrong, right? And I think that's when we really have to be honest with ourselves and ask ourselves those hard questions of like, do we align in all the ways that I think like we need to in order for this to be like a successful relationship? And sometimes the answer to that is no, right? Like of course there are going to be things that you disagree with your partner on, but for me, like I really do think those core value things need to come first before like the emotional stuff comes, right? And thankfully, this is one of the things that I am grateful to fried provolone about, right? That's one of the guys that I dated however long ago. Is I remember him saying like, I don't want to get emotionally involved or physically involved if we don't establish like a strong foundation of like values that are shared, right? And I was like, oh, you're so right. If we don't connect in ABC, like my non-negotiables, then like kind of what is the point in like continuing, you know? Like why get emotionally invested, and why like learn to love this person and like potentially get hurt if like those core things don't match up? I think that's why it's so important to kind of like have a list of values for yourself and like maybe like something that you want for a partner. And so to just kind of share with you guys, I actually have a list of values. This is Brene Brown's list of values actually. You can find them online. I will drop the link in the description. But I literally went through and I highlighted just literally everything that stood out to me. And then I went a step further and I like underlined the like top 10, because I'm like a little indecisive, that like really, really resonate with me. And so some of the ones that I know like really, really resonate with me are kindness, learning, faith, openness, uniqueness, humor, curiosity, adaptability, and health. So yeah, I think for me, I know that those are the things that I want in a partner. And if I come to realize that a person like doesn't have at least a majority of those things, like I don't know if it's going to work out, because right, I have been that person who will date somebody and I come to find out that they don't have these things, and it doesn't feel good, right? Like as a very like long-term relationship girly, I think that dating gets a little tricky because it's kind of, you have to go through the motions, you have to go through the steps, right? And I can't like get involved or like meet with somebody who like doesn't relate to me in like at least a majority of ways, right? Like I think when dating somebody who I know doesn't give a shit, it makes me feel so insecure, right? Like I always make a joke that like when I'm dating someone who's avoidant, I become anxious, and then when the other person is anxious, I become avoidant, right? And that's something I'm like working on balancing. But like, right, that's kind of true. Like I think that when someone is avoidant, it kind of like makes me want them more, right? Like we have that Korean saying of like mirthang, right? Which is like push pull. And it's kind of true in relationships. You push and you pull, and like it can't just be one person like chasing the other for a really long time, right? I just like don't think that like that dynamic necessarily works. Like I think, yeah, this is a little bit of playing games, but it's not like playing games. It's like, I think it's like softer than that, right? And so when the other person's avoidant, that like doesn't feel good, when obviously it's just like, oh, you just like don't want to hang out with me. And like I've had those situations, right, where like I'll go out on one date and I'm like, wow, like I think I like the energy together, like I feel a vibe, and they just kind of fall off the face of the earth, and like that doesn't feel good. Like it makes me hella anxious. Like that's when I hella stalk on Instagram, and like, oh, recently searched username, oh, recently googled name, recently LinkedIn name, and I'm like, oh, my phone is like literally incriminating, right? And like I literally only really do that when the other person is avoidant. I only become anxiously attached when the other person is avoidant. And it's just like, of course it's like that. Like, of course it's just a mess, because I feel like I want what I can't have sometimes. And then it's when it's the opposite. When the other person feels a bit anxious, you know, I get avoidant. Like, let me be real about that. Like, I think it's just like maybe me like trying to find balance. But I think the most beautiful is like when somebody matches my freak, when somebody is like just as secure as I am, of, oh, you like me, I like you. And then it's like, oh, I like you, oh, you like me. Like that feels so good when like you're in like a stable committed thing, right? I think that like going back to what my mom said, like it's just as important how you love somebody as it is how they love you. And so when it comes to just like matching my freak, it's like I like when people are communicative about how they feel about me, because it makes me feel more secure. And like, yeah, maybe that's a little narcissistic of me. Like, of course, yes, I love hearing that I'm smart and I'm kind and I have a good soul and I'm a woman of God and like I'm funny and great and perfect and gorgeous. Yes, that feels good. And there's no but coming. I'm just going to leave it at that. And I also think like a part of matching my freak is accepting me for who I am, right? Like, dude, wait, I keep hearing from my guy friends that girls are boring on dates. I know that's not y'all, but like, hearing that girls are boring on dates freaks me out because I'm like, what do you mean? Like, girls are so fun. Like, girls have girls are perfect and gorgeous and amazing and sweet. And so I'm like, how are there girls out there that are boring? And so, right, even in like the eccentric ways and like all your quirks, I hope that like you guys are able to find someone and date somebody who matches you in all those ways. You know what I mean? And I also think another part about matching my freak is that one of my values, right? It's openness. And so I want them to be open to who I am and who I will change and grow into, and like someone who just is willing to like work with me. Because I think that it's very easy to find people who are like rigid in their thinking, and that is something I totally don't vibe with. Like, y'all know I kind of be friending everyone out here, and like sometimes it's not the best, but like that's just kind of who I am. Like, I'm very open to new relationships and like new friendships and all of that. And so I think that for a partner, I would also like want that from them. It's just like them being open to like new experiences, right? Like, I'm a very like curious individual, and so like I kind of try everything once, right? Like, maybe not with food right now because I don't know what's going on with my tummy. But everything else, I hope that I'm like continuing to keep an open mind and then just an open heart, because like, right, that's like core to who I am. And I also think it's beautiful when you find somebody who like kind of has a similar lifestyle to you, right? Like, match my freak in that way, because I think it's so beautiful when you're able to like have like shared experiences with your partner of, oh, like, you like to play golf, I like to play golf, like let's go out and play golf, right? Like, I do think that obviously it's important to like have your own hobbies and like have your own set of friends, and like I really think that time apart from your partner is important, but at the same time, like, I hope that you would have kind of like shared interests and shared activities. And so, you know, that's when like it kind of gets into the deeper levels, right? We started at values. I want this person to value the things that I value. And then we move deeper. This is reminding me of Don Carlo's episode, right? Of finding people that you don't have to like settle with. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want y'all to settle. Like, we are not about settling, because I am still of the camp of like, the world is your freaking oyster, and like you're gonna find someone that you are obsessed with. And so I know that it's like really hard to like date out there, but like, we're not settling out here, because your person is out there. Like, you can find someone who matches you in a majority of your values, and hopefully if they don't have completely shared interests with you, at least that they would like, again, be open to sharing those things with you, or like finding a new activity together that you can do. And for me, I really think it's like, I love people so much, and so as long as that person likes people in general, like, we're good. We're good to go. And then of course, like, yeah, I can be a little quirky and eccentric, and like, I don't know, some people are calling me chaotic, and so I don't know what that's about, but like, I know that those people accept my chaos and all that it is, and so I'm happy about that. Like, I'm very grateful that people accept me for who I am. And so, yeah, y'all, let's find people who match our freak, because I am not about being freaky on my own. That is a crazy statement. I would rather, but at the same time, I would rather be freaky on my own than be with somebody who doesn't match my freak. Oh, you don't match my freak? Oh, you don't got aura? Oh, what's up then? Why are we hanging out? Why am I wasting my time? All people around me have an aura. If you don't have an aura, you are not in my life. Oh, you don't have an aura? We are not spending any time together. I'm not spending my time on you. No, but like also like I love people so much. So like if you don't have an aura, we'll just work on that. But if you don't match my freak, if you don't at the very least match my freak, we are not a thing. We are not hanging out. I'm not spending any time on that. Yeah, that is a non-negotiable for me. I need someone who matches my freak. I need somebody who can get freaky with me. Even my friends match my freak. I think about it, right? My friends know me and love me. My friends got their own freak going. And then when you put our freaks together, it's getting real freaky. What the fuck is going on? Put me and all my girlfriends in a room all together, it's getting hella freaky. Because you know why? We all got different freaks. And so when you bring all the different freaks together, it brings this diversity of freaks. And it's real freaking freaky in there. Somebody count how many times I said freak. Somebody count. Comment it down below because I want to know. I should probably put that in the beginning, huh? Y'all can just listen back again. Just double up my views. Just double up the views. Right? We going up. We going up on that. So yeah, don't settle. Find somebody that matches your freak. You need friends that match your freak. You need parents that match your freak. You need siblings that match your freak. And you need a partner that matches your freak. And you need community that matches your freak. Right? Those are my big pillars. Those are my huge pillars of everyone needs to match my freak. I need to look around and be like, wow, it's freaky in here. If you are a person that don't match my freak, we are not friends. My friends are all freaky. Oh, I'm checking out this new church. Are y'all freaky in the same way that I'm freaky? Right? And that is an important thing too. Are you freaky in the same way that I am freaky? Because yeah, everybody got different freaks. But if you are not freaky in the same way that I am freaky, and if I don't find that freaky just as freaky as you find my freaky, then like, will our freaks mesh? Are our freaks meant to be together? Should we bring the freaks together if you don't really match my freaky in the way that I want to find people freaky? Then like, is it worth it? I don't know. Because I want people to see my freaky at the level that they need the freaky to be. Because if you don't see me at the same level that you need your freaky to be or that you are at, then like, what are we doing? Are we settling here? That's not the vibe. So yeah, find somebody that matches your freak. Is somebody gonna match my freak? Is somebody gonna match my nasty? Yeah, and y'all on your own time, find out who matches your nasty. It's not my business. You're nasty. You guys know where that's from? Okay, I think that is it for this episode. Thank you so much for joining me. I will talk to you guys very soon. But other than that, put on some sunscreen because I walked around for literally 2 hours and got burnt. So do that. Bye. 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 How many other hearts can we make? Bye. Bye.